facts of life. I can assure you we are not funded by any major corporations or parties.
Fixed turbines are not possible due to the depth of the seabed. Thousands of kilometres of chain and cabling would be required, creating a web of obstacles for the marine life. The coastline of the Illawarra is part of the whale migration path that approximately 40,000 whales travel through each migration season. So how can they call it safe?
We are funded by residents and the local businesses of our community. We are, however, grateful to those politicians who've come along from various parties to show their support and voice our concerns in Parliament.
It's no introduction, a man that's not afraid to tell it how it is, a man who also refuses to wear RM boots because Twiggy Forrest bought the company, and he will not support a man that wants to destroy large parts of our coastline for his reckless green hydrogen and toxic green ammonia ambitions. Please welcome on the stage Barnaby Joyce.
Well, thank you very much for that, and it's great to see with such a great crowd down here in the Illawarra.
It's beyond troubling that the federal Labor member for Whitlam, Stephen Jones, or Where's Wally as us locals call him, Alison Burns, Labor member for Cunningham, Fiona Phillips, MIA, member for Gilmore, and the Labor would-be mayoral candidate for Shellharbour, Robert Petrescu, have blatantly ignored our community on this critical matter. They have chosen not to be here today.
To you people who've turned up, good on you. Good on you, because you've got yourself out of bed, you're shaking yourself down. Well done. There's got to, next time you come back, bring a few mates with you. Let's build this up.
Instead, some of them are at a Labor Party conference where it's quite clear that the party's interests are being put ahead of the needs and concerns of the Illawarra community. This blatant disregard and lack of transparency is utterly unacceptable. The decision to designate the Illawarra as an offshore wind energy zone should not rest with a handful of stakeholders, corporations and Labor cronies.
To Ted and Andrew, who are hiding behind that flag there somewhere, it's good to see you here. And I've never seen Ted so worked up. It's great. He's very excited about it, and that's exactly what we need.
To Chris Bowen, you might be guinea pigs, but to the Coalition, you are a local community that needs to be respected.
This the right choice for our community? No. The environmental, economic, logistical and safety concerns outweigh the potential benefits. We must seek alternative solutions. People, let us stand together in opposition of this offshore wind farm and advocate for a future that respects our environment, supports our local economy, our mental health, and upholds the values of our community.
And all we hear out of Bowen is that this is a fait accompli. Well, we have to continue to fight. I make no apologies for being political. The federal member for Gilmore put a post up describing anybody who was expressing concern about this proposal as anti-jobs and for higher power prices. Well, that's a bit rich. You only promised us a $275 reduction off our bills, and they only went up by $1,000.
The Albanese Labor government is taking Australia into a very, very dark and dangerous place. They went to the last election, including here, and looked each and every one of you in the eye and promised a $275 reduction in household power bills. There are people across this state who are paying up to $1,000 more than what Labor promised.
If we want to stop this project, your first step that you can take is on September 14th, local government elections. Do not vote Labor. Do not vote Greens. Vote Independent in Shellharbour. Vote Liberal. We have Councillor John Doherty standing for Lord Mayor in Wollongong. Send a clear message to Labor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't you just love the way they changed the nomenclature? You know, they call them wind farms. Wind farms. What does this farm grow? Is it carrots, peas? Is it a farm? Was it cattle? I don't know. Bunny rabbits? What the hell does your farm grow? that doesn't grow. It doesn't grow anything. It's a swindle factory. It's a swindle factory. It's a swindle factory owned by billionaires and Chinese companies and Dutch companies and Singaporean companies who get an investment return, a secret agreement from Minister Bone. Minister Bone, where are you? Where is Minister Bone? Is he here today? He must come out, wherever you are. Chris, come out. He's with Stephen Jones. He's around here somewhere. Maybe they're hiding.
Because when the federal election comes around, they will be scurrying. And just remember, when Labor stood for the federal election, Burns, Jones, the whole band, none of them told us about their intentions to do this. They have conned us. They were not honest with us. None of us like to be taken for granted, and that's exactly what they're doing. So I'd like to thank you all here for coming today, and please keep fighting.
And at the core of Labor's false prophecies lies a target of 82% renewables on the grid by 2030. Labor does not care what regional community it steamrolls. Labor does not care the cost to the household, to the business, so long as it achieves its target of 82% renewables on the grid.
This is not an environmental solution. This is an environmental catastrophe. This is an investment scheme. It's a swindle, a secret investment scheme where very big companies from... Do you honestly believe a company in China is worried about the environment in Australia?
You are on the front line as a community, and we acknowledge that, which is why I'm here today.
But you can't run a full-time economy on part-time power. Just not possible.
Australia is being taken in the wrong direction by Anthony Albanese and Chris Bowen.
And we've got a few problems happening here in Australia. If the other day, and thank God it didn't happen, but if the other day that bullet had gone 1.5 inches to the right, that instead of going through President Trump's ear, had killed him, America would have basically melted down into introspection. It would have been disastrous. Disastrous for them, catastrophic for us. Because all of a sudden foreign policy would mean nothing. All the issues that they'd only be concerned about the United States. And we'd be down here in Australia. And we've got this country, it's a bit of a problem. It's very, very powerful. It's up there. It's a totalitarian regime. It's called Communist China. Just up over those hills and far away, but close enough that they can run ships down our coast. We've only got one job, ladies and gentlemen. We've got to become as powerful as possible, as quickly as possible. We have got to make ourselves strong. Proper strong. We've got to make ourselves really strong. We've got to be really clever. Really clever. Do clever things. Clever things that make people stand up and go, that's the Australians. They're not too stupid. You know what's clever, ladies and gentlemen? You know what's really clever if you can do it? Nuclear power. That says Australia's smart. That says that to other people, don't take us as a joke. Don't take us as a joke. But think what they're thinking about us now. They're going to say, I kid you not, Australia thinks they're going to run their economy, wait for it, on a windmill.